Let's look at how to record allocation of expenses transaction of those items which should be written off using FIFO inventory method. To accept the goods transaction have already performed here. Now let's add new transaction. Specify inventory account 1610. You should allocate expenses to this account. Let's say amount of those expenses is 50 lari. Add also account of organization 3110, which cover those expenses. You can allocate expenses by amount of invoices. Now I have to select here in this field a related document number. One of those accept the goods transactions. Let's select this first transaction. Okay, and now let's move to the menu FIFO LIFO returns result table and look at this screen. You see amount of accepted commodities, unit prices, and quantities of those, and there are stocks right here as well. If you select this first invoice, you will see current allocation of expenses transaction right here. This expense 50 lari has been allocated to the first invoice. Close this screen and save this first allocation of expenses transaction. Now let's add one more allocation of expenses transaction. Specify the same inventory account 1610, and let's say amount of expense you have to allocate to this account is 100 lari this time. Select also account of the same organization 3110, and let's allocate this expense to the second invoice. So here in this field, related document number, choose the second accept the goods transaction. Okay, and now move to the menu FIFO LIFO returns result table and look at this screen. As you see here, this expense 50 lari has been allocated to the first invoice and 100 lari to the second invoice. You can't see transaction date here because this transaction hasn't been saved yet. Here in this screen, you see also that in case of the first invoice, 10 lari was the unit price of this commodity when it was accepted, and after allocation of expenses, actual unit price become 15 lari. Close this screen and save this second allocation of expenses transaction. Now let's record a write-off transaction and look at prime costs the system will use to write off this commodity. Specify purchase account 7210 and the same inventory account 1610, and let's write off 5 pieces of this commodity, and as you see, write-off amount 75 lari has been calculated by the system automatically. Now move to the menu FIFO LIFO returns result table once again and look at this screen. As you see here, the system will write off this commodity from the first invoice. Prime cost per unit is 15 lari. Quantity in the current transaction is 5 pieces, so 5 has been multiplied by 15, and this cost 75 lari has been calculated by the system. Close the screen, correct imbalance, and save this write-off transaction.